Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Guys with Cigars. As you could tell, I'm sure you know by now that Biden has supposedly won the election. So, whether or not you believe, in fraud or you believe in whatever, apparently the media decides who the president is, and they have decided that Biden is the president. And because of that, I think that there should be really some type of court or legitimate head of something that tells us who won, but it seems like that's not the case. It seems like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, they all decide who the president of the United States is and just let us know. So next time, hey, you go ahead and do it, and I'll just sit here and watch. But I'm not one of sour grapes. I really don't personally care who the president is, because it's not going to affect my life one way or the other. If they do something big and horrible or whatever, yeah, I'll care. But the thing is that 9 times out of 10, they don't do much to affect my day-to-day life. I don't know what that noise was. Anyway, hey, if you voted for Biden, good for you, as I said on my Facebook. But if you just voted to vote against Trump, then you're really a disgrace to yourself, and you're a disgrace to the country and your forefathers, because you should be a more educated person. And yes, I am a little disgruntled. The reason I am disgruntled is not because Trump lost. It's not because Biden won. I am disgruntled at the fact that even if there was a mild, very mild fraud going on in our country with votes, and I understand that nothing is perfect, well, except for me. Not just playing. But I understand nothing's perfect. But to disregard without looking into fraud on any level when it comes to my vote and the votes of the people. I stood online for over an hour, as I said in one of my videos. People in other states stood online for hours and hours. I heard one woman stood online for 2 days. I don't know what she was doing. I just go home. But, but because of that, you should be looking into voter fraud. There should be concern. There should be concern. There should be concern. So I got pulling it a little harder because apparently this thing ain't working right now. I think I need to fill it up again. There we go. Sorry about that little toasting the edges there. I'll tell you right now, it just turned black. My buddy over at Puff Cigars. I say Puff Cigars. Over at Puff Culture Cigars. Saved myself a little bit. Over at Puff Culture is going to kill me for making that little black mark right there. But as you can see, I was having trouble with my lighters. That usually doesn't happen. But it happened this time. Don't forget, I'm smoking the Punch Punch. It's a nice cigar for a nice day like this. It's nice and warm. It's not too cold, not too hot. It's a perfect day. You would think it wasn't, getting towards winter, but hey, you know what? I'll take it where I can get it. And you take it where you can get it too. And when you do, take it over to Puff Culture. Get yourself a cigar. Get yourself a Punch Punch. This thing's delicious. But back to what I was talking about. I am a little disgruntled. And I'm disgruntled at the fact that, it's like, because, like I was saying about standing online and the whole thing, it's like, I kind of knew that my vote didn't really matter. Although that's horrible, don't say that. We're supposed to pretend that it does. I kind of knew it, all right? But at the same time, when you just disregard the fact that there's tens of thousands, or even some people are like, oh, I heard it was only 600 or 800. Yeah, I get one vote. One vote. So you might as well take 600 people that I know and just throw them out. Oh, well, that happens. Don't worry, the rest of the United States will decide who's going to be running the country for you. And that's the thing. I don't know if there was voter fraud. I don't know if there wasn't voter fraud. But if there was, they should look into this before they decide anything. But, I'm not going to sit here and say that Biden isn't my president. That would be a terrible thing. I couldn't even imagine someone who would say, that's not my president. Because it is your president. If it's not your president, then, as I don't want to be one of those guys, but there are plenty of other presidents you can go and hang out in their country. But here in the United States, regardless of whether it's Biden or Obama or Bill Clinton or anybody else that's been a president since I've been around, was my president. That's the way it was. I've never uttered those words, that's not my president, and I'm not about to start now. And there are a lot of people out there that are going to have to live with what they did for the past 4 years, saying whatever they said and doing whatever they did. That's their burden to talk about. That's their burden to deal with. Me personally, when it comes to presidents, Biden is my president. I'm not ashamed to say that. I didn't personally vote for him because I know a lot of the things he did in the past that I didn't agree with. I also think that getting rid of a president and after the first term doesn't usually work out well for the country. It takes really. I had a teacher once that told me you're really only a president for the first 2 years, because then they just fill the other side with the House and the Senate and all that kind of stuff. They just jam pack it with the opposition, and then you can't get anything done anyway. So to have a president get cut out after 4 years, it doesn't seem really like there's a point to it. It's not. Unless you think this person is going to actually hit a button, like I said last time. Come on. What, we're going to do this every 4 years? We're going to have another president? Why not make it every year? We'll just have it. Who cares, right? Just throw another president out there. I don't know. But, it's like you got to let things play out, And I'm also not one of those guys that like to miss glaring evidence in front of me. I don't toss out that guy's a racist because CNN told me so, and this guy's stupid because Fox News told me so. It's like, yeah, do I see Biden stumbling on words? Yes. Do I believe he has a stutter and that's why he doesn't remember the preamble to the Constitution? No. It's just not reasonable. Do I think that's the reason why he can't remember that he ran against Mitt Romney? No. I can't possibly believe that that's true. Nowhere in his stutter did Mitt Romney's name ever pop into his head, where he just said, "Oh, well, you know who I'm talking about. You know the guy." Come on. I think you probably could have stuck anybody in reality on the opposite ticket and they would have won. I think that's just the case. I think that there was so much media hype because especially when there's a Republican president in, because, whether you want to admit it or not, and if you don't want to admit it, you got to open your eyes a little bit. The media swings one way, and the only other way they swing is on Fox News, which I don't watch it, but if you watch that, the only thing the other 5 channels do is say that Fox News is 100% lying 100% of the time. So really, anyone who watches the other 5 channels just assumes that Fox News is lying 100% of the time. So, I mean, it's really a wind tunnel. Oh, what do they call that? Vacuum, rather, a wind tunnel. It's rather a vacuum. You're just, you're going on Twitter and Facebook and all these other things, and you're just, But, it is what it is. You have to be political during political times. A lot of people go, "Oh, I'm not a political person." You have to be. You have to at least have an opinion, There's a lot of things out there going on. And the thing is, though, that it's a cult of personality. Like that song, Cult of Personality. It really is. It's like you do have people like Kennedy and Trump. And yes, I put them in the same sentence. And the reason is because they have the same following. There's no real backing for what anybody's doing because they don't really know them yet. But, with Kennedy, it was a little different. He's a young guy. He's good looking. His TV had really become a big thing back then. And Nixon was old. And, he was better on the radio because older people listen to the radio. It's kind of similar to today, actually, if you think about it. Like older people that listen to the radio, there's a lot of Republicans on the radio. And when it comes to TV, movies and stuff, there's a reason why you see a Democrat always running the television, because they're trying to get the younger vote. That's just the way it works, That's the way our country works. But if you can't open your eyes and see that, then you're being disingenuous to yourself and you're being disingenuous to your country. And that's that about that. You know, I'm not saying that one is better than the other or anything like that, although for the past 4 years, I'm sure people would say I'm a Republican, but I'm really not. I'm an independent. Even my wife would say I'm a Republican. The real reason why I'm always like that is because I root for the president, just like I will with Biden. If you follow my videos, you're going to find out that that's the truth. I'm going to root for Biden. I'm going to hope that Biden does right by the country. And he does, you know, if Trump does something bad, he deserves to be called out for it. If Biden does something bad, he deserves to be called out for it. But it has to be a policy. I'm not going to sit here and call out Trump because of something he tweeted. You know, I'm not going to call out Biden because of, you know, him stumbling on words. You know, it's just, it's petty and it's unintelligent is what it really is. You know, we're smarter than that. We should be smarter than that. You know, the fact that you have 70 million people, supposedly, that voted for Biden, more than Obama, which is just, I can't even imagine that to be true. How could you possibly, but okay, fine. That's the way it is, that's the way it is, that's what we're going with. I don't know anyone myself that has ever said, I like Biden because, and then finish the sentence. It's always been, and this might just be my narrow point of view and just the, you know, the cluster of people that I know. I've never heard anybody say, I like Biden because blah, blah, blah. It's always, I'm not voting for Trump. I can't vote for Trump. F Trump, or whatever it is they're saying about Trump. I honestly have never heard it, never seen it. But if you guys know of a reason why our new president is a good person, and I'm not talking about morally, do not text me or, you know, whatever, or go to yourleader56@hotmail.com or leave a comment at the bottom after subscribing and hitting that button. That don't sit there and say, you know, something personal about the guy where, you know, oh, he's good with his grandkids. I don't care. I really don't care. Or, wow, he sounds like he's a good guy. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Give me a policy that you saw him do, that he put into place, that he helped put into place, a bill that he signed, where you're saying, this is why I voted for him. That makes you an actual American. That makes you a voter. That's what you do, you know? It's just the way it is. It's the way I see things. You don't have to see them the same way. You know, you can go on and vote for Joey from Friends for all I care, Mickey Mouse, like some people fill in the little blanks. In Nevada, I think, that's a good cigar. I'll tell you. Anyway, I'll tell you in a second. But, you know, actually, as it comes to cigars, I did want to say, I don't do a lot of reviews, you know. I don't do any reviews, really. I'll tell you what the cigar is, and I'll smoke the cigar for you, or with you if you want. But if you want an actual good cigar review, who's kind of a little laid back like me, you know, he does a little cigar. He has a whole thing in the beginning where he says, I do a cigar review and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm kind of the same way, but I do less of the cigar review than he does. If you want a little more full cigar review, there are people on the internet that you can go and check out. And Lee Mack is one of the guys that I personally watch. I really enjoy his stuff. He shoots from the hip. He's a straight guy, you know, just does it right out of his garage. You know, he seems genuine. He puts up videos all the time. I think in the past, like 3 or 4 days, I've seen like 3 or 4 videos. So, you know, he really keeps you going. And so shout out to him. And he gives an honest review, you know. And there's a couple other guys from like, you know, I'm gonna get in trouble for this one, but I always forget the backyard cigar guy. I always call him the backyard cigar guy, but look him up. You'll see. Anyway. Back to what I was talking about. You know, after these videos, after this one, I'll probably get a little less out of the politics. So if you're not a fan of politics and you're kind of bored of it, sick of it, or whatever, stay tuned, and I'll be talking about more fun things like I used to. You know, it's just with the election around, you kind of get wrapped up in it, and it is what it is, and people want to talk about it, and people get excited about it, and I think people are going to be bored because CNN and MSNBC and those that are backing Biden, they're not really going to put out a lot of controversial stuff about him. So it's not going to be as fun as it's been the last 4 years. Fun being the operative word. You're not going to hear about, whatever shenanigans he's up to. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have it, if he does anything, it's going to be either cut out or whitewashed, or they're going to tell you how it's you misinterpreted it, or it's being seen as this, but it's really not. The old it's not over here, it's over here. That's what they do. It's their guy. They're all cheering, they're all happy, just like they were booing when Trump won, and they were all sitting there crying boo-hoo. That's the way we deal with things. And if you don't see that, pay a little more attention if you want to, or don't. But all in all, it is what it is, and at the end of the day, we are all Americans. But I can understand how people are upset, and I can understand how they're also upset at the fact that they've had to deal with people telling them they're not allowed to talk politics, and shut up and don't say anything, and how dare you talk about it, and all that other stuff for the past 4 years. That they kind of want to give it back a little bit. I see that as well. If Democrats think that all of a sudden we're going to be hugging each other because there's a Democrat in office and you won the election, it's just not going to happen. I just don't see it happening. I mean, they act like they're using this phrase, Biden will bring us all together again. I don't know who all is that they think they're talking about, but I know 45% of the people in this country didn't vote for him, and a large majority of those people are not happy. And a lot of those people are not happy about the way they've been treated the last couple of years, and a lot of those people are not going to be happy and just come over to your house and have a piece of cake because all of a sudden you're not, causing trouble anymore. It's not going to happen. We still have a pandemic. We still have the cities that nobody wants to go anywhere near because there's crap happening all the time. This isn't like all of a sudden everything's hunky-dory because your guy won. Just as like it wouldn't be hunky-dory if Trump won. So that's just the way it is. We're going to have to deal with it. I don't know politically if we could ever, see eye to eye. But as I said before, when Trump was in office and things were going on, I said the same thing. It's your family and friends you're arguing with on Facebook. It's your family and friends you're arguing with. There's really no point, And I understand how irritating it could be that people who were being nasty before all of a sudden have a big smile on their face and tell you, can't we all get along? I can understand that because they didn't give you the same courtesy. I totally get that. But at the same time, I haven't heard yet, and you could send me a video if you find people that do it. I'm sure there's people out there, but I haven't personally in my life seen a Republican say yet he's not my president. I've actually heard the opposite. I've heard Republicans say that he's still my president, we voted for him, that's the way it works. So when I hear it from the other side, it's a little disingenuous now to come back after 4 years and say, he's your president. Because now you're just really just picking a problem. You know what I mean? Because for the past 4 years you were saying, that's not my president. So, it is what it is. I'm not going to be doing much more politics. I might, if it's funny, I might put it on. But I just want to say a little piece because we just found out that Biden has been elected president. I wish him luck. I wish America luck. And I hope that everything works out. All right? Don't forget, click, subscribe, da-da-da-da-da. You know what to do. Hit the button. And I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you enjoyed this little piece of my life. And the next one, I hope, will be big. Because I'm going to have a special guest. Because it is episode 10. Wow, yeah. Talking about it like that. Peace, y'all.